Hello, future designers and developers. This is a video on making columns and rows. So very important inside of web design is making sure that we space things out in a nice orderly fashion. So making columns and rows is incredibly beneficial. So let's talk about how we do that. And the best way to do that is actually using divs and classes, which if you haven't watched the last two videos, please go back into the playlist and check out the last two videos on classes and divs, because those are going to be really important. So let's start just by making some divs that we want. Let's say that we want a 3-column structure. So on the far left, we have a block, we have a middle block, and then we have a block in the center. Let's say we want to make those columns. Let's start with just a div right here, and inside of this div, I'm going to do h1, or I'll make it smaller, h2, and say this is first column. Cool. And then I'm just going to copy and paste this so I can make my other columns. Oop. And copy. And paste that out. So now I'll change this into my second column, and this is going to be my third column. So we want to take these and we want to arrange them where they kind of stack nicely next to each other. So how we have to do this is we're actually going to group all of our columns together in a row. So our rows are ones that go across vertically while columns go across horizontally. So we're going to put all of these inside of a div itself. So I'm going to open a div here. I am then going to move this one down after I make all my other divs. I also am going to do this quick format the file. Beautiful, beautiful. Makes it look really nice. So inside of this, I'm going to call this I'll make a class, and I'm going to call that class a row. So right here, I've got my div class is equal to row. So now all of these are in one row. Get it? We have all of those in one row, but now we need to make all of those columns. So for each of these, I'm going to say class is equal to column, and I'm just going to copy and paste that into the other ones because we want all of them to be equal to that. Cool. So now all of those have columns, and this is all set up. So we have one row that contains 3 columns. First column, my second column, and my third column. So let's go into the CS where we are going to modify our columns. First, before we even do that, I am going to give some colors to this just so it's easier to tell. So I'm going to do some inline CSS, do style is equal to background color, and then over here, let's set our background color. We're just going to do those grays because it's nice and easy to see. So copy. Paste it out, and then this will be BBB, and this one will be CCC. So they're just different levels of gray. All right, cool. So now we want to take all of these and we want to line them up in a row. So let's call out our div dot column because we want to edit those. And inside of our div.column, we want to first say that we are going to change the width of our divs so that they all fit together. So I'm going to set my width at 33.33%. So now they're all a third of the screen. And then I'm going to take a float. And my float, what a float does is take whatever element we had next and place it up to where we want it to go. So I'm going to float left, which means that I'm going to move them up and to the left. So automatically we've got all of these filled in right where we want them. Now this may look great, but we are still going to have a lot of floats after this. So we have to do something whenever we make these columns to clear after we create floats. So I'll show you how to clear a float in a second, but right now I'm going to change the height of this to be 200 pixels just to make it look a little bit nicer, make it a little bit cleaner, and really I'm gonna change the text size too while I'm here. I know this doesn't really have much to do with the video, but I just think it looks a little bit nicer. I'm not gonna do the text size. Whatever. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. All right, so let's do the dot row. So we're calling the column, and then we're gonna add in this after attribute over here. So we're saying after our row. So remember, we created a row that has our 3 columns in it, and we're gonna say after it, we want to say content is nothing. So it's just this empty bracket over here. Then we want to display a table. Basically, we're creating a table and putting nothing into it whatsoever, because then we're going to say clear and both. This may not seem important right now, but if we don't have that, if we try to create anything else, it's going to stack it, or any other inline elements, it's going to stack it onto our last float. So this is an important piece of code right here that you're gonna need anytime that you are creating these columns. All right, but that's a long enough video. I hope that it helped you. I will talk to you later. Bye.